So today I'm going to practice to write a message about the increase of amateurs. Despite the specialization of scientific research, amateurs still have an important role to play. During the scientific revolution of the 17th century, scientists were largely men, private means who pursued their interest in natural philosophy for their own edification. Only in the past century or two has it become possible to make a living from investigating the workings of nature. Modern science was, in other words, built on the work of amateurs. Today, science is an increasingly specialized and compartmentalized subject, the domain of experts who know more and more about less and less. Perhaps surprisingly, however, amateurs, even those without private means, are still important. A recent poll carried out at a meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science by astronomer number by Dr. Richard Greenberg found that in addition to his field of astronomy, amateurs are actively involved in such fields as acoustics, horticulture, ornithology, meteorology, hydrology, and paleontology. Far from being crackpots, amateur scientists are often in close touch with professionals, some of whom rely heavily on their cooperation. Admittedly, some fields are more open to amateurs than others. Anything that requires expensive equipment is clearly a no-go area, and some kinds of research can be dangerous. Most amateur chemists, Jobs' brother Finberg, are either locked up or have bound themselves to it. But amateurs can make valuable contributions in fields from rocketry to paleontology, and the rise of the internet has made it easier than before to collect data and distribute results. Exactly which field of study has benefited most from the contributions of amateurs is a matter of some dispute. Dr. Feinberg makes a strong case for astronomy. There is, he points out, a long tradition of collaboration between amateur and professional sky watchers. Numerous comets, asteroids, and even the planet Uranus were discovered by amateurs. Today, in addition to comet and asteroid spotting, amateurs continue to do valuable work observing the brightness of variable stars and detecting novae, new stars in the Milky Way, and supernova in other galaxies. Amateur observers are helpful, says Dr. Finberg, because there are so many of them, they far outnumber professionals, and because they are distributed all over the world. This makes special kinds of observations possible. If several observers around the world accurately record the time when a star is eclipsed by an asteroid, for example, it is possible to derive useful information about the asteroid shapes. Another field in which amateurs have traditionally played an important role is paleontology. Adrian Hunt, a paleontologist at Mesa Technical College in New Mexico, insists that his is the field in which amateurs have made the biggest contribution. Despite the development of high-tech equipment, he says the best answers for finding fossils are human eyes, lots of them. Finding volunteers to look for fossils in difficult disease because of the mere universal interest is anything to do with dinosaurs. As well as helping with this research, volunteers learn about science, a process we call recreational education. Rick Brunei of the Cornell Laboratory of Ornithology in Ithaca, New York, contends that amateurs have contributed the most in his field. There are enough true to be as many as 60 million big poachers in America alone. Given the huge numbers and the wide geographical coverage they provide, Mr. Bonet has enlisted thousands of amateurs in a number of research projects. Over the past few years, their observations have uncovered previously unknown trends and cycles in bird migration and revealed declines in the breeding population of several species of migratory birds, prompting a habitat conservation program. Despite the successes and whatever the field of study, collaboration between amateurs and professionals is not without its difficulties. Not everyone, for example, is happy with the term amateur. Mr. Boni has coined the term citizen scientist because he felt that other words such as volunteer sounded discouraging. A more serious problem is the question of how professionals can best acknowledge the contributions made by amateurs. Dr. Winberg says that some amateur astronomers are happy to provide their observations but grumble about not being reimbursed for out-of-pocket expenses. Others feel let down when their observations are used in scientific papers, but they are not listed as co-authors. Dr. Hunt says some amateur paleontologists are disappointed when told that they cannot take finds home with them. These are legitimate concerns, but none seems insurmountable. Provided amateurs and professionals agree the terms on which they will work together beforehand, there is no reason why cooperation between the two groups should not flourish. Last year, Dr. S. Carson, founder of the Society for Amateur Scientists, won an award worth $290,000 for his work in promoting such cooperation. He says that one of the main benefits of the prize is the endorsement it is given to the contributions of amateur scientists, which has done much to silence critics among those professionals who believe science should remain their exclusive pursuit. At the moment, says Dr. Carson, the Society is involved in several schemes, including an innovative rocket design project and the setting up of a network of observers who will search for evidence of a link between low frequency radiation and earthquakes. The amateurs, he says, provide enthusiasm and talent, while the professionals provide guidance so that anything they do discover will be taken seriously. Having laid the foundation of science, amateurs will have much to contribute to its ever expanding edifice.